Can you hear me now, Marcus?
There we go. All right. Sorry about that.
Okay.
All set now.
Oh, good, good. All right. Well, Marcus, again, I wanted to say, starting off, thank you for the invite and the opportunity to present to the fine audience tonight. So I really appreciate that. And really, if you know any economic developers, only giving us 15 minutes to talk is really tough, but I'll do my best. But a lot of times the question I get kind of out in the real world is, what is economic development? So I thought I would share a PowerPoint that I put together that kind of explains at least my philosophy or viewpoint of economic development. Now, Marcus, can you see my screen?
Yes, that's coming in great.
Okay, good. So I borrowed this from another presentation, so I didn't quite show the main slides, but we are the Platte County Economic Development Council, or Platte County EDC, or PCEDC. We love our acronyms, but to explain economic development, here are the core elements, and it's that proverbial three-legged stool. Our ultimate goal is to establish and create and continue to foster a resilient community. And a resilient community is one that has all different type of opportunities for individuals and for companies to be the very best that they can be. So we want to offer up the tools and create that environment that really creates that resilient community, one that can overcome a global pandemic or downturns in the economy. And it's all about diversification. And how we do that, or how we prop up that resilient community, are the three P's, I call it. There's people, there's places, and there's partnerships. So we deal a lot with real estate, so that's the places portion. Without people, without a workforce, without a community, there really is nothing. And then also partnerships. We can't do this alone. It's very much a village-based idea. So what are the main components of what we do in any given day? So hopefully you can see that. It might be a little small, but I can actually increase my screen size a little bit if that helps.
Yeah, it is a little small. Thank you.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so in the upper right hand, and I purposely made these all equal sections, but in the upper right hand corner is the piece that a lot of people see and interact or in the news. That's business attraction. So Amazon headquarters too, you name it, any type of big, huge attraction, draw of a new business. There's also on the lower right hand side is business retention and expansion. So that's when we sit down with existing businesses that already call Platte County home, or Parkville too, which is part of Platte County. And we sit down and learn more about their business and what kind of challenges are they facing, what opportunities do they have, how can they expand, those type of things. There's also the bottom left, workforce development, and that is probably a key element that I wanted to bring up today, which is I have jobs. I'm always constantly trying to find talent, people to fill those jobs. So that's certainly a strong piece that we can talk with and collaborate with. We're always looking for great sources of talent. And then the upper left-hand side, which I think has tremendous opportunity for improvement in Platte County, is that general business support and entrepreneurship. So if it's so easy, why isn't everybody doing it and doing it well? The challenge is the iceberg metaphor. It's a little different spin on that. But what most folks see is the very tippy top 10 to 15% of what we do. A lot of times folks are like, oh, that's the new theater, or oh, that's the new business or office building. And that's really the very tippy top 10 to 15% of what we do. What we're really working on is that vast majority that people don't ever see, which is behind the scenes, building deals, making things happen. So I just want to kind of show that. The key here is patience. You have to be patient. Change does not happen overnight. So I always encourage folks to have patience. That advancement is happening. We are progressing. It just takes time. This kind of goes through some slides of what's happening now. I don't know if I have enough time really to go into it, Marcus, but most of us know about the new KCI terminal. This is probably the most recent or pretty close recent picture, at least of March 2021. And if you're not following Build KCI on social media, I strongly encourage you to follow Build KCI, as they give great updates on the airport and all the different workforce items tied to that. So as you can see from this March picture, they're really moving along pretty quick. They are on time and on budget. So it's a fantastic project, a total game changer, not just for us, but for the Kansas City metropolitan area. We're continuing to see a ton of activity of industrial buildings and industrial uses. So these are the industrial buildings up on I-29 by the airport, and we've got tons of new employers coming into those, and we have a lot of positions to fill. There's a fair amount of warehouse distribution jobs, which are fantastic careers, and those companies always want to see their employees advance. There's also manufacturing opportunities. You're actually fabricating and making products. I mean, even the next phase of KCI Intermodal is occurring, which will be 2 buildings, which we call them LC, but that's the name of the buildings. But there's building 7 and building 8. Building 7's about a smaller side of things, 250,000 square feet. Building 8 will be 850,000 square feet, a very large building. And there's also another industrial building, which is going to be a new user. I can't say who, but it is a manufacturer, 250 jobs. So again, like I said, we're bringing these employers into Platte County. I need to find people to fill these jobs. Now, what's really on the horizon, this huge project, is Golden Plains Technology Park. So as you can see on the map, hopefully, it's actually at the northwest corner of 169 Highway and 435. It basically wraps around Vineyard Church. So I don't know if Vineyard Church is here or not, but I know that they're heavily involved and aware of this project. But this is actually going through the City of Kansas City approval right now. They will be the nation's 2nd largest data center. To give you an idea of scale, each of these buildings, which this has changed actually since this picture, but each building is about 1 million square feet. That is huge. Those are crazy large buildings. Now, these are data centers. So most of these jobs, while not a ton are created at every building, there's about 50, 60 jobs per building, all in the IT sector. So network engineers, think IT networking for the most part. Basically think the cloud. This is the cloud in physical form. So it's a massive game changer for an area that hasn't seen a whole lot of huge, massive growth. We know about Zona Rosa, and I'll just go through these slides quickly, Marcus, because I only have 15 minutes. But this is showing you the revitalization, what they're planning on doing there at Zona Rosa. If you've been by there recently, they're redoing what's now called Central Park, which used to be Town Square, and that's what it's going to look like. So they're redoing all the public spaces, making them more of an attractive gathering place to attract new users, and we've got some new apartments and other things happening on Zona Rosa. And if you follow Facebook, you've probably seen the 54th Street expansion, where they'll have the 2 pickleball courts and bocce ball, et cetera, et cetera. And if you've been on the west side of Parkville, this is a Parkville group, you definitely know about Creekside. I strongly encourage you, if you haven't been out there, to go check it out. It's pretty impressive with what they've done and what they continue to do with all different types of housing, mixed use, a baseball complex. I won't go into a lot of details, guys. I just don't have a lot of time. But all this new growth and development means jobs. I can't stress that enough. So we've got to try and find folks that can fill these jobs. And then our other village center, which is like our 3rd one, is our brand new Twin Creeks Village Center, Town Center. So this map isn't the best, but 152, if you see my cursor, but this is 152. This is Platte Purchase Drive. This is 169 Highway. So it's basically that whole northwestern and then the northeastern corner. A lot to talk about here, but just know that we're creating these highly vibrant, walkable town centers with all different types of housing. So this is a very exciting development that we're going to see a lot of progress on in 2022 and beyond, with a whole new diverging diamond interchange at Platte Purchase Drive and 152. And there's a great video fly through, so it gets a good feel of what it's going to look like or what the developers intend for it to look like. We keep seeing a ton of interest and activity on industrial. We talked about that, but rooftops. Everything follows rooftops, not the other way around. It's very rare that you see a Dairy Queen or an office building go out in the middle of nowhere where there's no rooftops, and there's a reason for that. They follow those. So we have really got to do a great job, and we're seeing a lot of activity. But I always like to show this aerial map, and that's a little bit older of Platte County, but what you see is a lot of green, which is challenging because, like I said, everything else follows rooftops. So it's a matter of converting the green to gray, as I call it. So as you see where it's developed, it tends to be more of a gray tone. So where it's done properly, we convert the undeveloped green spaces into highly vibrant and great uses within there. So we have a lot of resources. I won't go into detail, but Marcus, the main point I want to get across, and hopefully I'm not going over my 15 minutes, is jobs. We have a jobs page. I meant to put the link on here, but I'm happy to get that to you after the fact. But that's where we communicate with CVS distribution and all of these employers on these job opportunities. So I like to get the word out as much as we can, whether it's Parkville, Riverside, or even further out, because these employers are trying to find 200, 500 people, and folks tend to drive up to 30, 45 minutes. So you think about that drive time out of Platte County, that takes you up to St. Joe, that takes you out quite a way. So that's the main point I want to get across, is how can we work together on providing careers for our fine neighbors and residents of Platte County. So I don't know when I started, but I want to try and honor the time markers. I know you got a couple other presenters. So I'd love to answer questions. I'd love to speak the virtues of economic development. 15 minutes is not near enough time for an economic developer, but I did my best. So I'm happy to answer any questions folks have.
Thank you very much, Matt. Let me fix the video stream here, and yeah, I'm sure there'll be some questions about COVID relief, small business, and I'll be sure to get those additional resources from you to send in our follow-up email.